On a chilly morning at the Lincoln Memorial, an atmosphere of anticipation hung in the air. People from all corners of the United States had gathered, carrying with them a mix of hope and uncertainty about the future of their country. Flags fluttered gently under the gray sky, signaling that something momentous might unfold. The crowd wasn't just there for a political speech, they were there to witness something greater, something that could change the course of their lives. As Donald Trump stepped onto the stage, he exuded confidence and determination, ready to unveil his vision for the future, a vision of renewal for America. He spoke passionately, declaring that they weren't just dreaming of a better future, but actively building it together. Trump promised that this journey would leave no one behind, emphasizing that the America they were striving for would be one where everyone, regardless of race, gender, or background, would have the opportunity to succeed. His words, full of strength and resolve, resonated with the crowd, sparking a sense of collective purpose. For many in the crowd, this wasn't just a rally or a political event. It was a defining moment in history. Among them was a mother, holding her son close and whispering words of hope in his ear, telling him that this day, this very day, could mark the beginning of something monumental. The solemn, yet hopeful, atmosphere suggested that history was being made right before their eyes, and as the speech continued, people could feel the weight of it all. It wasn't just about policy, it was about the spirit of America, the shared responsibility to lift one another up, and the belief that the best days of the nation lay ahead. As the crowd stood in quiet anticipation, an elderly man, standing near the edge of the gathering, couldn't help but voice his thoughts to those around him. His voice was soft, but there was a sense of deep conviction in his words. "If the eagle appears, something monumental will happen," he murmured, gazing upward into the sky. Those nearby heard him, and a subtle hush fell over the crowd. It was as if they understood, instinctively, the weight of what he was saying. For in America, the bald eagle is not just a bird, it is a symbol of freedom, strength, and resilience. The man's words were more than a simple observation, they were a prophecy, spoken from the heart of someone who had witnessed history and understood its rhythm. For a moment, there was only the sound of the wind gently rustling through the American flags, each one fluttering in unison, their vibrant colors dancing against the cool breeze. The sky above was heavy with clouds, but something in the air felt different, charged with a quiet energy, as though history was holding its breath. The crowd, some of whom had traveled across the country to be there, felt it too. Many had come seeking hope, seeking a vision of a better future for themselves, their families, and their country. But they didn't know, not yet, that this moment would be more than just another rally. It would become a memory etched into their hearts forever. And then it happened. A piercing cry broke the silence, cutting through the stillness of the morning. The crowd turned in unison, eyes searching the sky. The gray clouds began to part, as if the heavens themselves were making way for something extraordinary. And there, soaring high above, was the eagle. Its majestic wings spread wide, cutting through the air with powerful grace. It circled above the crowd, its flight commanding awe and respect, as though it was inspecting the gathering below. The eagle didn't just fly aimlessly, it flew with purpose, with intention, its movements deliberate and powerful. The crowd's murmurs of awe grew louder, as they realized that the eagle wasn't just a beautiful bird, it was a sign. A sign of something bigger than themselves. As it flew lower, its wings brushed the American flag billowing on stage, and the crowd fell silent. In that brief, suspended moment, time itself seemed to pause. People's hearts beat in sync, and every eye was fixed on the eagle as it made its way to the Lincoln Memorial. With a final, graceful swoop, the eagle landed on the shoulder of the statue of Abraham Lincoln. It perched there, as if it had chosen that place to bear witness to the unfolding history below. The eagle's piercing gaze swept across the crowd, its eyes seeming to judge, to evaluate, as if it could see into the very souls of those gathered. The symbolism was undeniable. The eagle, perched on the shoulder of Lincoln, America's symbol of freedom and equality, was a clear and powerful reminder of the ideals that had shaped this nation. It wasn't just a random occurrence. It felt like a sign from history itself, a call to action. The eagle's presence, so rare and magnificent, carried with it a weight of meaning that transcended politics. It was as if the universe had chosen this exact moment to remind the American people of their shared heritage, of the collective responsibility they held in shaping the future of their nation. For many in the crowd, the old man's prophecy had come true. The eagle had appeared, and with it, they sensed that something monumental was indeed about to unfold. The air was thick with emotion, a deep sense of reverence filling the space. The crowd was no longer just a group of spectators, they were participants in something greater than themselves, part of a moment that would resonate through history. It was clear, this wasn't just a rally. This was a turning point, a moment when the American people were called to remember their shared values of freedom, unity, and hope for a brighter future. The eagle had appeared, and it was a sign that change was coming. The question now was whether they would rise to meet it. The appearance of the eagle was more than just an extraordinary sight, it was a defining moment. As the majestic bird soared high above the crowd, a wave of awe rippled through the audience. There, in the sky, against the backdrop of a still gray morning, the eagle made its entrance, its massive wings cutting through the air with a deliberate and powerful grace. It wasn't just a bird flying aimlessly, it was a living symbol, a reminder of everything that America stood for. The eagle's flight seemed to echo the very ideals that had shaped the nation: freedom, strength, courage, and resilience. The eagle didn't simply fly overhead and disappear into the distance, as one might expect from an ordinary bird. No, this eagle had a purpose. Its flight was calculated, its path intentional. As it circled above, it seemed to study the crowd, assessing their faces and understanding the weight of the moment. The atmosphere shifted, and there was a collective realization that something larger than a political speech was unfolding. The people weren't just witnesses to a campaign event, they were participants in a historical moment. The eagle's soaring flight brought with it a sense of grandeur, almost as if it were a messenger sent from the heavens themselves, urging the nation to remember its true essence and the promise that had been made to its people. Then, as if to seal its role in this extraordinary moment, the eagle swooped lower, its wings nearly brushing the flag that rippled beside the stage. The crowd fell into a hushed reverence. It was as though time itself had slowed, and everyone there, from the youngest child to the oldest veteran, could feel the significance of what they were witnessing. The eagle wasn't merely an animal, it was a living emblem of American ideals, and its presence made the gathering feel almost sacred. The air around the Lincoln Memorial seemed to crackle with electricity, and the people were no longer just attendees, they were part of something greater, a shared journey toward a brighter future. And then, the eagle did something that sent a surge of emotion through the crowd. It flew directly to the Lincoln Memorial, landing on the statue's shoulder. Its piercing gaze swept over the audience, scanning each face as if it were judging their worth, measuring their commitment to the ideals of freedom and justice that Abraham Lincoln had so fiercely championed. The crowd was stunned. For a brief moment, the eagle was no longer just a symbol of nature. It became a part of the nation's story, standing shoulder to shoulder with the statue of Lincoln, an enduring testament to the promises that America had made to its people. The single beam of light that broke through the clouds and illuminated the scene only added to the reverence. It was a moment that transcended the mundane, a moment where the divine and the historical seemed to converge. Donald Trump, standing at the podium, paused in mid-sentence as he looked up at the eagle. His voice became steady and full of emotion as he addressed the crowd. He recognized the power of what was happening and spoke with great conviction. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "this is no coincidence. Here, at the very place where the symbol of freedom and equality stands tall, the eagle, the sacred emblem of America, has appeared. It is here to remind us that our journey is not just about a small goal but a monumental mission." The crowd was silent, absorbed by the words of their leader, but also by the profound symbolism of the moment. The eagle, perched on Lincoln's shoulder, wasn't just a symbol of the nation, it was a call to action. For the crowd, the eagle's appearance wasn't just a fleeting moment of beauty or spectacle, it became a challenge, a call for every person there to live up to the ideals that had made the country great. Trump's words echoed through their hearts, and the weight of the moment lingered in the air. The eagle, with its regal presence, was more than just a bird. It was a sign that America's journey was far from over. It was a reminder that the path forward would require strength, unity, and a shared commitment to ensuring that no one would be left behind. As the eagle remained perched on Lincoln's shoulder, it wasn't just an observer, it was a participant in the moment, a living testament to the power of unity and the promise of a better future for all. The crowd, though still reeling from the weight of the eagle's presence, was now more determined than ever. This moment, they knew, would not fade into history as just another speech, it would be remembered as the day that the nation's resolve was tested, strengthened, and renewed. As the crowd stood in stunned silence, the eagle remained perched majestically on the shoulder of the Lincoln Memorial statue, its eyes sweeping over the gathering below. The presence of the eagle seemed to transcend the ordinary, becoming a symbol not just of America, but of something more profound, a call to action, a reminder of the nation's ideals and its potential for greatness. The scene before them was almost divine, as though the eagle was delivering a message to the American people. The path forward would be shaped by their actions, their unity, and their collective will. This was no longer just a moment of history unfolding, it was a challenge for the people to rise to their responsibility and actively participate in shaping the future of their nation. In that moment, the eagle became a powerful emblem of America's enduring promise. As Trump continued his speech, he acknowledged the gravity of the situation. The audience was no longer simply listening to a political leader, they were absorbing the weight of a message that reached beyond politics and spoke to the soul of the nation. This is not just about policies, Trump said, his voice filled with conviction. It's about our shared responsibility to build a future that is brighter and more inclusive for every single American. The crowd was united in their belief that the country could only move forward by working together, as one nation, indivisible. The eagle, with its wings spread wide, had come not just to inspire, but to remind them of the importance of this unity. The significance of the eagle's presence was not lost on the crowd. For many, the moment was deeply personal. It was a reminder that they weren't merely spectators of history, but active participants in it. The mother who had whispered to her son that this could be the day everything changed, the veteran who had seen countless battles and sacrifices, and the young boy who, inspired by the sight of the eagle, dreamt of soaring to new heights, they all understood that the future of America would be shaped by their actions. It was a powerful reminder that no one is too small, no dream too insignificant, and no person too powerless to make a difference. As Trump picked up the eagle's feather from the stage, the crowd's emotional connection deepened. The feather, a tangible symbol of the bird's majesty, became a physical manifestation of the promise that every American, no matter their background or circumstances, had the potential to rise and soar to new heights. Trump held the feather high, symbolizing the responsibility that lay on the shoulders of every citizen to ensure that the American dream was not just an ideal, but a reality for all. It wasn't just about political promises, it was about creating a nation where opportunity was truly available to everyone. For those in the crowd, the sight of the eagle and the weight of Trump's words created a sense of renewed purpose. The eagle's presence wasn't just a sign of hope, it was a call to action. The journey of freedom, Trump emphasized, wasn't an abstract idea or distant dream, it was a shared responsibility. We must soar together, he declared, as the eagle remained steadfast on Lincoln's shoulder. This wasn't a rally for a single candidate or a political cause, it was a reminder of the collective responsibility of every American to contribute to the greater good of the nation. It was a message of unity, of perseverance, and of faith in the ability of the American people to rise to any challenge. The eagle had come, not just as a symbol, but as a living testament to the power of unity in the promise that, together, they could achieve anything. As the eagle remained perched on the shoulder of the Lincoln Memorial statue, the crowd stood in reverence, fully aware of the monumental significance of what they were witnessing. This wasn't just a political event, it was a turning point, a defining moment in American history. The eagle, long recognized as a symbol of freedom, courage, and strength, had appeared not by chance but as a divine reminder of the journey that lay ahead. It was a moment that transcended the mundane, one that would be etched into the collective memory of all who were present. It was a call for each individual in that crowd to recognize their role in shaping the nation's future, to understand that the American dream wasn't just a lofty ideal, but a tangible reality that required active participation from everyone, no matter their background or station in life. Donald Trump's response to the eagle's appearance was both powerful and poignant. He did not merely acknowledge the bird as a symbol, he recognized it as a sign, a signal from history itself that the country was at a crossroads, and that the road ahead required unity, resilience, and action. "This is no coincidence," he declared, his voice firm with conviction. "Here, at the very place where the symbol of freedom and equality stands tall, the eagle has appeared to remind us that our journey is not just about small goals but about a monumental mission." His words resonated deeply with the audience, and in that moment, everyone in the crowd felt that they were part of something greater than themselves. They were part of a collective effort, a nation united by a shared purpose and commitment to a brighter, more inclusive future. The eagle's presence was a reminder that America's strength lay in its people, in their ability to come together to overcome challenges and build a stronger, more just society. It was a call to action, urging the American people to rise to the occasion, to set aside their differences and work toward a common goal. This was not a time for division or partisanship, it was a time to focus on what united them. As Trump spoke of the nation's potential for greatness, the crowd felt a renewed sense of hope, knowing that they were not just bystanders to history, but active participants in the creation of a new, more prosperous America. The significance of this moment wasn't lost on anyone present. Whether it was the young child who had never imagined that something so profound could happen in their lifetime, or the elderly man who had witnessed countless pivotal moments in American history, the appearance of the eagle brought them all together under one banner. It reminded them that no matter their personal struggles, no matter their backgrounds, they were all part of the same story, a story that was still being written. As Trump spoke further, emphasizing that the journey to a stronger America would not be easy but would require the effort of every citizen, the crowd stood in silent agreement. The eagle, in all its majestic glory, had become the embodiment of the nation's resilience. Its presence was not a passive symbol, it was a call to action. "Together, we will rise," Trump promised, echoing the unspoken resolve that had formed in the hearts of those gathered. The eagle, though a solitary figure in the sky, was now a symbol of unity, a reminder that in America, every person had a role to play in the future of the nation. In the end, the eagle's flight was not just a breathtaking spectacle, it was a moment of transformation. It was a reminder that the American dream could only be realized if every citizen had the courage to act, to rise above division, and to work toward a common good. The journey was long, but the path forward was clear. United, the American people would soar to new heights, just as the eagle had done that day. The eagle's flight was a defining moment, one that would resonate with the American people long after the event. As the majestic bird soared into the sky, its wings cutting through the air with quiet strength, it was more than just a symbol of freedom, it was a living embodiment of the hopes, dreams, and potential of the nation. In that moment, the eagle became a powerful reminder that, just like the eagle, every American had the ability to rise above the challenges they faced, to soar to new heights, and to fulfill the promise of the American dream. The crowd, moved by the sight, stood united in their belief that this moment marked the beginning of something profound, something that would change the course of history. Donald Trump, recognizing the weight of the moment, spoke not just to the crowd before him, but to every American watching across the nation. He understood that the eagle's flight was not just a spectacle, it was a call to action, a reminder that the journey toward a better, more unified America would require everyone's participation. "This is not just about the future of a few, it is about the future of all of us," he said, his voice strong and resolute. The message was clear, the journey to a brighter future would not be possible without each individual playing their part. The eagle, with its soaring wings, was a symbol of the collective responsibility to lift the nation to new heights. For those in the crowd, the eagle's flight was more than just a powerful image, it was a personal moment of connection to the values that made America unique. It was a reminder that America had always been a place of possibility, where individuals could rise above their circumstances and build better lives for themselves and their families. But more importantly, it was a reminder that America's greatness was built on the strength of its people, on their ability to come together, set aside differences, and work toward common goals. In the heart of the crowd stood a mother and her son, who had traveled from a struggling rural town to witness this historic event. The mother had whispered to her son that this could be the day everything changed. As they watched the eagle take flight, they understood the gravity of her words. This was not just a day to witness history, it was a day to be a part of it, to feel the weight of their collective responsibility, and to realize that the future of their country was not predetermined but was being shaped in real time, by the actions and choices of the people. Trump's message continued to emphasize this sense of collective responsibility. He spoke not just of policy changes, but of a shared vision, a vision where every American, regardless of background or circumstances, had the opportunity to thrive. The eagle reminds us that every person, no matter their station in life, has the wings to soar, he declared. The crowd felt the truth of his words deeply, knowing that the promises made that day were not abstract concepts but real, actionable steps that would affect the lives of millions. As the eagle circled above them one last time, it was as though the entire crowd held its breath, waiting for something to shift, to change. The eagle had soared to new heights, and in doing so, it had lifted the spirits of all who had witnessed it. But more than that, it had sparked something in the hearts of those present, a belief that they, too, could soar, not just as individuals, but as a united nation. The future, as the eagle had shown them, was theirs to shape, and the time to act was now. The moment wasn't just about the eagle's flight, it was about the collective will of the American people, their commitment to rise together and build a stronger, more inclusive nation. The journey ahead would be long and challenging, but as the eagle had shown them, there was nothing America couldn't achieve if it worked together. The crowd knew that the path forward would require determination, unity, and action from every single person. And as the eagle disappeared into the sky, it left behind not just a memory, but a renewed sense of purpose, a reminder that the strength of America lies in the hearts of its people, and together, they could achieve greatness. The moment the eagle took flight, the energy in the crowd shifted. The air, once thick with anticipation, was now electric with a renewed sense of purpose and unity. As the majestic bird soared higher into the sky, it wasn't just a breathtaking display of nature, it became a powerful metaphor for the nation itself. The eagle's flight was a call to action, a vivid reminder that, as Americans, the country's future was not just something to be observed from the sidelines. It was something to be actively shaped, something that required the involvement and efforts of every individual. In that moment, the crowd understood that the power to change the nation didn't lie in the hands of a few leaders, but in the collective strength of the American people. Donald Trump seized on this collective energy, using the moment to remind the audience of their responsibility to one another and to the nation. "We are not just spectators in the story of America," he declared. "We are the authors." His words resonated deeply, as they served as a call to rise above personal and political differences and focus on the shared goals that would unite the country. The eagle, having flown so high above the crowd, symbolized the lofty heights the nation could reach, if only the people were willing to put in the effort to rise together. For many in the crowd, the sight of the eagle was more than just symbolic, it was deeply personal. They saw in that soaring bird the embodiment of their own struggles, dreams, and aspirations. From the young child in the crowd, eyes wide with wonder, to the elderly veteran who had seen so many battles, both literal and figurative, over his lifetime, the eagle's flight was a moment of profound connection. It reminded them that the American dream was not a distant ideal, but a promise within reach for all who were willing to fight for it. The veteran's words, "This isn't just a promise, this is the path we will walk together," underscored the collective responsibility that everyone shared. Trump nodded in agreement, acknowledging that the nation's strength would come from the people's willingness to work together, to invest in one another, and to break down the barriers that divided them. Together, we will rise, he said, echoing the same sentiment that the eagle's flight had embodied. It was a powerful declaration of unity, and in that moment, the crowd felt like they were not just witnessing history, they were making it. As the eagle soared higher, it served as a visual representation of the journey ahead. It was a reminder that there would be obstacles and challenges, but also opportunities. America's greatness had always been built on its ability to overcome adversity and continue to rise, no matter how high the obstacles seemed. And just as the eagle didn't fly alone, neither would America. The message was clear: the journey to a stronger, more united America would require every person to take part, to contribute in whatever way they could, and to support one another in the pursuit of a better future. The crowd, inspired by the eagle's flight and Trump's words, stood united in that moment, not just as spectators, but as active participants in the creation of a new chapter in the nation's story. They understood that the road ahead would not be easy, but they were willing to walk it together. The eagle, in its soaring majesty, had shown them the way, not just to hope, but to action. And as they watched the eagle disappear into the vast sky, they knew that this moment, this day, marked the beginning of a new era, one where the American people would rise to new heights, together. The eagle's flight marked the climax of a moment that would become etched in the memories of all who witnessed it. As the majestic bird soared above the Lincoln Memorial, its wings cutting through the sky, it became more than just a symbol of freedom, it was a living, breathing call to action. Donald Trump, recognizing the power of the moment, turned to the crowd and emphasized that America's journey toward renewal was not something that could be achieved by a few leaders alone. Instead, it was a collective effort that required everyone to take part. "We are not just bystanders," he declared. "We are all part of this journey." His words resonated with the crowd, inspiring them to believe that they could be the change the nation needed. The eagle, circling high above, seemed to reinforce Trump's message, reminding the people that, like the eagle, they had the ability to rise, to break through barriers, and to achieve greatness. It wasn't just about waiting for change, it was about actively creating it. As the eagle flew higher, the crowd felt a sense of responsibility and unity, as if they, too, could soar to new heights if they worked together. The sense of collective purpose was undeniable, and the people knew that this was a moment in history they would not forget. As the eagle disappeared into the vast sky, leaving behind a trail of hope and inspiration, the crowd stood in awe, understanding that the future of America rested in their hands. The journey ahead would require hard work, but they were ready to face it together, knowing that, as one nation, they could achieve anything. The eagle's flight had shown them that anything was possible when they united with a common purpose.